Republicans. There's almost now a divide within the party between those who are overtly condemning him and those who are not. You saw that Huckabee and Cruz have held back. And the problem for the establishment of the party is there is no limiting factor on how long Donald Trump can stay in this race, except for what Donald Trump feels like doing.
George, your thoughts about Donald Trump, the debate, and the shape of the Republican race in the wake of the debate?
I'd begin by disputing the premise of both Chuck and Laura, which is that these are Republican voters. These are not Tea Party voters who are very substantive. I think the people attracted to Donald Trump are marginally connected to politics at all and are brought into this for the entertainment value. I like to think that the beginning and the end was with a question you asked him in the debate when you said, what is your evidence for your statements about the complicity of the Mexican government? Donald Trump doesn't do evidence. He says apoplexy is a substitute for argument, so he just went off on another rant. Time will come when politics becomes blocking and tackling. You go to Iowa, you have to organize, you have to sit in a lot of living rooms with a macaroon in one hand and a cup of hot chocolate in the other. Now picture Donald Trump doing that. I can't. So I think he will seek his own level.
But I just want to, before we move on to Lisa, let's say it's 20 or 30%. You say they're not Republicans, they're not conservatives. They're people, they're voters. And, you know, if they either sit out, and I think generally speaking, you'd say they have voted for the Republican, certainly against the Democrat, or if Donald Trump, and he certainly has left it open, ran as a third-party candidacy, wouldn't that be enough to sink the Republican nominee? Either way.
These are voters that the Republicans want. The Republicans should want all voters, and particularly these voters. But to say that he's tapped into something, Henry Wallace tapped into something in the far left of American politics in the late 40s. The John Birch Society tapped into something. George Wallace tapped into something. And it was up to the grown-ups in the labor movement in the 1940s and the grown-ups in the conservative movement in the 1960s to read those elements, the Riot Act, and say, come back in, but come back in on our terms because we're not going down the road you want to go.
Lisa, let me bring you in. You are